you joined me on a 24-hour session at Horcott Lakes in Fairford in the Cotswold Water Park. Now I have actually been here for a couple of hours already. Right down in the sort of car park end, I dropped into a swim, number one in fact, for a couple of hours because there was numerous fish sort of showing out in open water. One, not to miss an opportunity, quickly knocked up a couple of zigs and yeah, sort of flicked them out there and just kind of sat on them for a couple of hours. Wasn't too sure if I was going to stay in that swim for the remainder of my session or whether I was going to move once sort of other people have turned up and dropped into different areas. But yeah, there was an opportunity there, but yeah, unfortunately it didn't materialise. So I'd come for a walk after a couple of hours and I am actually in peg 39 now. There were a couple of different areas that I wanted to get into, but unfortunately they were occupied already. But yeah, like I say, everyone else has kind of arrived and settled, and I've dropped into this swim because when I was walking up and down this bank, it's a sort of number of swims that don't have any pressure either side, and not only that, I did see one very subtly show itself. So that's enough for me to drop into, and there's nothing saying that I won't move again at some point if I need to, but at the moment it's yeah, it's looking good in this swim just because of the sort of angle and pressure either side isn't existent. So it would just be me in these sort of 2 or 3 swims either side of me. So yeah, it gives me a little bit of water to play with, and yeah, like I say, no immediate sort of pressure from any other anglers, so you never know, the fish may have just drifted over here from other people casting around and stuff like that. So that's what I've got to look at. I do need to just get in here and shift some of this weed out the way so I can get me sort of rods down there and stuff. Just looking from the sort of car park end, it is actually quite weedy this time round. A year ago it wasn't too bad at all, to be quite honest with you, but it seems like yeah, it's really starting to thrive on these warmer sort of days and nights that have finally arrived. The weed is starting to start to grow and start to show itself, but as you can see, it's flat calm at the moment. I've not seen anything else apart from that one show, like I say, in this swim. Just a set of patch of bubbles coming up just over there, but I am seeing that in this swim, the odd patch of, but where are we there? The odd sets of bubbles just starting to fizz up. Now, you know, it could be tench, could be the carp as well, but it's the most activity in the sort of 3 swims that I've been and had a look around in. All of the sort of swims that are free, I've seen the most, like I say, I've seen that one really subtle show in just a couple of patches of plumes of bubbles like that. So you never know, they may just be in this area. So I'm going to shut up now, get the barrow unloaded, have a little flick around the lead, see if I can find some nice sort of clean areas. I don't know how weedy it is on this side compared to obviously that car park end, so yeah, just going to get a little lead on there, have a little flick around, see what I can find, get a few rods out. Right, well, finally found a spot. Probably spent the best part of half hour, 45 minutes leading around, and it might seem like a long time, but when you're fishing sort of weedy waters, it's really sort of worthwhile spending that time finding a spot to start with, rather than sort of umming and ahhing and not being 100% confident that your rigs are sort of presented. And like I say, just on the deck knowing that they're fishing effectively and most importantly confidently. Like I say, that the rigs have gone out there and they're not just diving straight into any weeds. So yeah, I've spent, like I say, the best part of half hour, 45 minutes doing that. I found an area, definitely fit 2 on there. 3 might be a push, but I'm going to try it anyway, just because everywhere else that I've kind of led it around, I've not really found anywhere else that's remotely close to sort of like yeah, the drop that I'm getting on this rod at this distance. So yeah, just over, literally 13 wraps, just over. And like I say, I'm going to try and squeeze 3 rods onto it. So it's actually turned out to be quite a pleasant afternoon. Looks like the clouds slowly starting to clear, so I'm in no rush to get any of that lot off the barrow yet. Just want to get these rods sorted, so I'm just going to sit down, get a couple of rigs sorted, and think about flicking them out, and could think about sorting everything else out. Well, just check the time, and it's nearly 4 o'clock. The afternoon is drawing on fast, so I need to get a move on, get some bait out onto this spot, so I can make, like I say, a couple of rigs and get them out over the top as well. So I'm going to get all the disturbance done early doors, so I can just basically sit on it really for the rest of the session, and reapply some bait if I need to, based on any sort of activity that I might get until sort of 1 o'clock tomorrow. So I'm going to go and have a really simple mix, hemp and corn. You know, every lake sees it, so really simple. Keep on grubbing around, flexi yellow just to catch their eye, but yeah, there's not a fish that swims, especially carp, that won't go down on that lot. I'm going to then just do a couple of spoms of pellet. You know, some of these fish are quite new fish over the last few years, so they would have been raised, you know, like most carp that have been stocked into the lakes, they would have been raised and bred on pellet. So I'll be putting a good few spoms of those out as well, and they break down absolutely lovely, all different sort of shapes and sizes. It will just sort of flutter down and rest amongst any sort of bottom debris that are out on that spot. And I'll probably just go in with 1 or 2 handfuls of bigger food items, slower breakdown rates, like I say, more traction, different food signals, and like I say, just something a bit more chunky to the mix really. So a good sort of mix overall. Like I say, a lot of bits and pieces there to keep them rooting around and grubbing around, oozing off loads of attraction, and hopefully dragging them down onto the spot where my 2 or 3 rigs will be. So let's shut up, get a bit of this out, and yeah, get them rigs sorted. Well, that's the rigs baited. Just need to steam the booms out a bit, just to get them looking nice and straight. I'm going with the hinge stiff rigs, just because I know that they're going to be off the deck by an inch or so, away from any of that bottom debris. What I've gone with is just 3 different types of pop-up. So the bottom one is the Sent from Heaven from Baitworks, lovely washed out pink, as you can see, perfect size, and smell absolutely divine. The next ones even are the Creamino pop-ups, the sort of cork dust ones. I've not actually used these yet, so I thought I'd give them a bash, considering I put a handful of Creamino in the mix. And then again, another Creamino one, but sort of washed out yellow creamy colour, but again, nothing too blatant and in your face, quite subtle, but just a nice colour. So yeah, I'll just need to get these steamed up, get them straightened out, get them on the rods, and get them out there. Well, there's 2 out of 3 rods gone out. First time, absolutely bang on. I couldn't be happier. So I'm going to be going for the hat trick in any minute. But before I cast it out, I just want to talk you through the setup for this session, because there are a few rules at Horcott that you have to obviously abide by. So firstly, there is no leaders, so no lead core, no sort of leaders as such, like the fused leaders. Just going in with me tungsten tubing, like I take absolutely everywhere, just help pin it down out on that lake bed when there might be just little bits and pieces of sort of weed on that spot, that sort of thing. The tungsten tubing, like I say, I'll pin it right down, but not only that, gives the obviously the main line a bit of protection if fish do pick up the rig and obviously make their way into the weed. So rig concealment and a bit of protection. Goes down to a lead clip system. So there are no fixed rigs on Horcott, obviously, because it's quite weedy. Everything has to break free, so that if the worst arises and you get cut off, or you crack off, or you snap up of any way, shape or form, everything needs to be, like I say, as safe as it can be. And with this setup that I've got here, if the worst comes to worst, literally the fish will be just towing a rig, any sort of main line, but we'll be able to shift that because I'm using a barbless hook. So got a lead clip. Everything, every piece of this component of this setup is basically will come apart through the minimal tension. So the tubing will come out of the lead clip sleeve. The sleeve itself will pop off the lead clip really easy. The lead clip itself, the lead will pop off of that. Not only that, because I've used these lead clips in the past, you would notice obviously the little hole where you can put the little sort of like plug into to fix your swivel in place. I'm leaving that out on this session because, again, with a little bit of tension, that swivel will also pop out of the lead clip. So say any of this snapped off, all these components, lead, tubing and the rig will all come free of itself, leaving obviously the fish just towing whatever length of rig that you've got and a bit of main line. But like I say, with it being barbless rules, that will soon work its way out of the fish's mouth, and that will just be left then, and hopefully no other fish will be able to pick it up at least. But yeah, if the worst comes to worst, at least they're not going to be towing around absolutely tons of gear, because it's all all comes apart really easy. So you don't want any sort of shot or any beads or anything like that kind of impeding this lot from coming apart. So fishing really safe, really effectively, and like I say, on weedy waters like this, it's the best way to go, just for the sake of the fish safety after all, which is the most important part. So like I say, that all comes apart nice and easy. Really basic lead clip setup. Sort of an 8-inch semi-stiff boom, just enough to kick the rig away in flight, drop down over any debris that's on the bottom. It's a weed green in colour, so it should mimic what's out on the lake bed as well. And then I've just got my hinge stiff rig with the pop-ups attached to it as well. Bit of weight, a little bit of putty down on the swivel, just to get that to drop down ever so slightly onto the lake bed. I've tested it in the margins there, and that just drops down so slowly, and that'll be prime for a bite. So yeah, make sure you have a read of the rules. Like I say, fish safely, fish effectively. Finally, rods have gone out, all went out first time, bang on. Like, I can't do anything else. I've had a good lead around. I've got rigs that are going to be fishing effectively. I've got them on a clean spot, as clean as I can find out there in front of me. And yeah, I've got bait out over the top. So the rest is down to the carp. I can't really do a lot more, to be quite honest with you. Don't know if you can tell, but it's a slight breeze picking up now, which is quite nice, blowing from right to left, and it's meant to turn quite miserable tomorrow morning. meant to be getting a bit of rain and stuff like that. So yeah, you never know. It might just switch them on a little bit. But yeah, I can't do any more with these. Like I say, I've put the graft in. I've cleared all that lot out that was all around the front of this swim to get me rods out down there. You know, I can walk out a little bit and give it the cast without getting tangled up in that lot. But essentially, that lot there is what is out in and around that spot out there, and a lot of the other sort of areas that I kind of navigated with my rod. But yeah, I found, like I say, the clearest spot I could find, just over 13 wraps, and like I say, I can't really do much more than that, to be quite honest with you. So it's a beautiful evening. I am going to set up home. The swim is an absolute pigsty, left and right, stuff all over the place, because I wanted to get these rods sorted and disturbance out the way. So like I say, it's a beautiful evening, so I'm in no rush, but I really do need to set up camp for the night and at least sit down and have a bite to eat and a brew, a long needed brew. So yeah, they're out there, they're doing it, to see what happens over the course of the night. Home, finally set up. Brought the tactical Brolly with me for this session. Quick and easy to put up. I knew I might be moving once or twice, but yeah, loads of space in there still. I do like fishing under my Brolly for short sessions like this, 24 hours. But yeah, absolutely tons of space under there. So I will be nice and comfortable. Whack the ground sheet down, just because we're due a bit of rain tomorrow morning. Well, probably best part of the morning through to early afternoon typically. So it looks like it's probably going to be a wet pack down. So I did put the ground sheet down for a bit of comfort. But yeah, that's home for this evening. As you can see, light is starting to fade. It's turning into what looks like it's a moody sort of evening really. I know we're due some rain in the early hours of the morning, and then sort of from about 5-6 o'clock all the way through to leaving. So looks like it's going to be a bit of a wet pack down. But yeah, that cloud's come over, and earlier when the sun was setting, it really did look moody. Flat calm though. Not seen anything, not heard anything. I've just been watching over the water, and yeah, not seen or heard a single fish. But the rods are out, they're doing it, so there's always a chance. So I'm going to leave the camera for now, unless anything happens through the night. Fingers crossed it does. If not, we will catch up in the morning. Morning. It's probably about 5:15, and as you can tell, possibly by the slight background noise, the pattern sort of on the Brolly there, it's yeah, the rain has started already. Now it does actually look quite good out there. It's kind of hazy and sort of misty, all grey and overcast, and with a slight drizzle on the water. It's looking good. Like, you know, if I was turning up now, I'd be kind of rubbing my hands together. So it does really look, like I say, it does look really good for a bite. I heard one sort of bosh out in the sort of Syndicate Lake behind me, and that sounded decent. Yet to see anything myself, but I'm a little bit sort of Brolly bound just at the moment, just as I sort of wake up to the world and get this coffee sort of down my neck, but yeah, it looks good for a bite. So got to 1 o'clock today to yeah, to try and nick myself a fish. The rods are staying out. I'm not going to redo them. Got no reason to redo them. I know they're all fishing. I know they're all prime. They've got bait over them. So yeah, like I said yesterday, really it is down to the carp to see if they just move across that patch really and fancy getting their heads down. So like I say, I'm just going to come round, get this down my neck, and just kind of watch over the water. Just got to have the sort of Brolly letterbox style really at the moment, just because even though the wind's sort of coming over my shoulder, it is just coming in the sort of front of the Brolly there. So yeah, just going to keep that door up, sort of letterbox style for the minute, and yeah, like I say, just keep a watch out over the water, and fingers crossed one of those 3 rods rattle off. Well, the rain's actually stopped, which means I can get out of there and stretch my legs, but nothing's happening on the fish front for myself. It's all quiet, although I've seen 2 tench roll, so you never know. But there is a guy over there, he's had a fish, so not quite sure obviously on size or anything like that, but just know that one's been out over there. But yeah, all quiet at the moment. But as I say, it's just nice to get out of the bloody Brolly, because I've been cooped up under there obviously most of the morning because of the rain. But all quiet. The rods are still out. They will stay out to the bitter end. Was contemplating putting one back on a zig and just giving it sort of a cast around here and there, but not quite sure what to do yet. Don't know whether to just keep them all sat on that baited spot or mix it up and put one back on a zig and sling it around. Obviously not really a lot's happening on the deck from what I can tell and what I can see. Not quite sure if anyone else sort of either side of me have had anything. I've not heard any alarms or anything along those lines, but yeah, I just think if they're not having it on the deck when the conditions are quite good, you know, overcast, you know, a little bit of wind, rain, then maybe they just might be up in the sort of middle to sort of top third of the water. So I'm just going to toy on that idea for the next sort of half an hour or so really. But I know also that the guy sort of to my left had maybe a fish or 2 fish the morning that I arrived, like late morning, so there's always a chance of a late morning bite, which makes me think that it might just be worthwhile leaving them there just for that sort of 10-11 o'clock period when I think that he had those fish as well. So yeah, don't know, just going to toy with that zig idea for the moment. Just kind of stand out, watch the water, stretch myself out a little bit, and yeah, just keep an eye out really and see if I can see anything to react on. If I do see a fish sort of show within my sort of section of water, then yeah, I might just stick a zig on it, but for now I might just stay put, keep everything crossed for a last minute bite. Well, we are into that time again, spool spinner time. So rods are on the deck, the barrow is loaded, and I've just got the camera out really to do this sort of outro piece, unless one of those absolutely rattles off in the next sort of 30 minutes or so. Just been pinging the zig around last 20 minutes, half an hour, just giving them a, you know, here, there and everywhere, just trying to nick a bite really, but nothing's materialised. I've not actually seen anything either. So yeah, not a lot to go at this morning, even though it does feel really good for it, either on the deck or on the zigs, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, just going to wind it up there whilst we got this break in the rain. That lot is wet through, well, the Brolly is anyway. I've tried to protect me my new luggage with the ground sheet. But yeah, like I say, whilst we've got this break in the rain, just going to say thanks for watching. Sorry it hasn't been a fishy filled video this time round, but yeah, you got to be in it to win it. Wasn't intending to get out on this session, so it's a bit of a bonus really to be able to come out on this 24 hours. So I'm going to leave it there. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, leave me a comment below, subscribe to my channel, all that usual business, and feel free to come and get in touch on any of my social media. Any of you that have been out recently, I hope you've had a little bit of a better success rate than myself, but whilst they remain out, there's still always a chance. So I'm going to milk that right up till 1 o'clock, get myself home for a nice warm shower, and I'll catch up with you guys next time I am out on the bank.